Hi, I'm Isabel from the Cognito Forms team. In this video, I'm going to show you how to connect Cognito Forms to ChatGPT and Claude using our MCP connector. The Cognito Forms connector allows ChatGPT and Claude to securely access your forms and perform actions on your behalf. By the end of this video, you'll be able to ask AI questions about your form data, use AI to update and add entries based on data you already have, and even have AI research, organize, and submit new information for you. First, I'll show you how to set up the connection. I'll begin with Claude and then go through the setup steps for ChatGPT. Then I'll walk through some practical examples to demonstrate what AI can do. And finally, I'll wrap up with some best practices, current limitations, and general things to keep in mind as you work with these tools. To create a connection with Claude or ChatGPT, you'll need to be an organization administrator or owner. Before we begin setting up the connection, keep in mind that these AI platforms evolve quickly, so specific menu names or locations might look a little different in the future, but the connection process will generally remain the same. If you're planning to use Claude, log into Claude and click on the Customize icon, which looks like a briefcase. Then click Connectors and then the plus icon. Here you can browse the connectors and search for Cognito Forms. Once you find it, all you need to do is click Connect and follow the prompts for selecting your organization and then authorize the connection. Claude is now connected to Cognito Forms. Now let's look at how to connect ChatGPT. Once you're logged in, click on your account or your workspace name in the bottom left corner. Then select Settings and open the Apps tab, search for Cognito Forms, and then click Connect. You'll then sign into your Cognito Forms account and select the organization you want to connect. Once you've authorized access, Cognito Forms is connected to ChatGPT. For the rest of the demonstration, I'll be using ChatGPT, but the same process works with Claude and other AI tools that support the Cognito Forms integration. When you start a new chat, make sure that Cognito Forms appears at the bottom of the prompt window. This confirms the integration is enabled for the conversation. If you don't see Cognito Forms listed, click the plus icon next to the prompt box, select More, and then choose Cognito Forms before proceeding. In Claude, Cognito Forms won't appear at the bottom of the prompt window like it does in ChatGPT. Once you've connected Cognito Forms to Claude, you can use it across conversations without needing to add it to each chat. If you'd like to verify that the connection is active, click the plus icon and open the Connectors menu. That's where you'll see the Cognito Forms connector and see if it's enabled. First, one of the most useful things that you can do is ask questions about your form data. For example, I can reference an event registration form and then ask how much money I've collected from ticket sales. When you're starting a new chat, it's important to include the form name. This helps AI identify the correct source and then return an accurate answer. But now that I've established that I'm interested in this particular form, I can later ask how many VIP tables are left. This can be much more efficient than manually filtering through entries one by one. So that's the first capability, asking questions about your form data. But let's take it a step further. AI can also update or create new entries on your forms based on information you already have. So for example, I can ask AI to update Mateo's email address. Then I can ask AI to identify all of the people who donated additional amounts and then add them as entries to a thank you note form. This is a really cool use case because this form has email notifications set up so that each person added as an entry can receive a personalized note of thanks for attending the fundraising event. So this is where AI moves from simply answering questions to actually helping you take action. But now for the part that I'm most excited about. AI can also help you gather information that you don't already have. For this part of the demo, I created a form called Wholesale Coffee Leads. So imagine I sell coffee beans wholesale and I want to find local businesses that might be interested in buying them. Instead of manually researching businesses, copying contact information, and entering everything into a form, I can ask AI to do some of the heavy lifting. So here's the prompt. Find locally owned businesses within 25 miles of Charlotte, North Carolina that serve coffee to customers or employees. Gather their contact information, determine their business type, explain why they may be a good wholesale coffee customer, and then submit them to my wholesale coffee leads form. Now AI is doing several things at once. And when AI returns the results, you may be prompted to allow it to create the entry. Once those entries are in Cognito Forms, you can keep the workflow going. For example, I can review all of the leads that I've generated and then send wholesale information to businesses I genuinely think are a good fit. So that's the kind of workflow that makes this feel less like a chatbot and more like an AI assistant. And this is just one example, so you can get really creative with the role that AI plays in your organization. But before you start building with this, there are some important things to keep in mind. First, AI is powerful, but it's not perfect. When it researches information online, the information it finds may not always be accurate or current. Plus, it does make mistakes. For example, while testing this workflow, I noticed that AI combined information from two different businesses into a single entry. So think of this as an AI assistant and not a replacement for human judgment. Second, if you're updating or creating entries this way, you could inadvertently trigger actions, status changes, email notifications, or other automation configured on the form. So just be mindful when working with your live data and use good judgment to mitigate those risks. Before we wrap up, there's one practical consideration to keep in mind. Actions performed through the connector consume API requests. So for reference, over the course of this entire tutorial, I've used 13 API requests. Every Cognito Forms plan includes a monthly allocation of API requests, but if you exceed that allocation, additional requests will incur charges. You can monitor your usage at any time by opening the Usage tab in your organization's settings. And finally, AI platforms are changing very quickly, so the examples that I used in this video reflect what's possible right now, but features and interface details will change over time. That's all I'm going to include in this video, but you'll find more information in our user guides, and if you have any questions, you can reach us directly by submitting a support request.